Hi everybody, this is part 2 of my Star Wars The Acolyte toy unboxing from Hasbro. If you would like to see me unbox and check out these two Star Wars lightsaber forged lightsabers from Star Wars The Acolyte, check out part 1 of the video. For now, we're going to look at some Acolyte action figures. Okay, now we're going to move on to the part that I am personally very excited for. These lightsabers are more for younger kids. They're ages 4 and up, by the way. But I am a action figure collector. These are 4 and up as well, but this is the kind of thing that I would be collecting even if they had not sent them to me. I do find it really interesting that these Star Wars The Black Series action figures from Hasbro have gone back to the older style of packaging that they used to use back when the Black Series first started. They came kind of full circle around to this. So Acolyte takes place 100 years before the Star Wars prequel trilogy. So it makes sense that we would get almost sort of a retro for a decade ago kind of a packaging. Let's start with Jedi Master Indara. This is the character played by Carrie-Anne Moss in the show. Now, I'm not going to go into spoilers in this video. I'm going to do my best to avoid really any kind of major spoiler whatsoever, just in case somebody out there hasn't seen the show yet. But this is Indara. She's one of the first Jedi that we meet in the show. I can say that. There's the illustration on the side of Master Indara, and you can see she comes with a cloth robe and her lightsaber. Of course, you can't have a Jedi action figure without the lightsaber. Her description on the back reads, "At the end of the High Republic era, a former Padawan reunites with her Jedi Master to investigate a series of crimes, but the forces they confront turn out to be far more sinister and personal than anticipated." Okay, let's open up this Black Series Indara action figure. I'm trying to think if I ever had a Carrie-Anne Moss action figure from The Matrix. I don't think I did, of Trinity. But they did exist. I remember those action figures coming out for The Matrix. And it's very cool to have the 6-inch scale Carrie-Anne Moss Master Indara figure, if I can get her out of here. Oh, usually there's two. I guess they're trying to reduce the amount of plastic here. So I just want to make note that there's usually this little clamshell case and then another one that fits over it to protect it. But now there's just the one, which I do think is interesting and probably a good compromise because they had gone plastic free. I think the collectors and the fans kind of rejected that. I'm sure the sales dropped off a bit, and Hasbro said, well, we have to go back to the window box style of packaging for our action figures. And so they've compromised on this middle ground, which is fine by me. So let's take a look at Master Indara here. Okay, pretty good likeness of Carrie-Anne Moss, I think. Let's see if we can get her in focus. There we go. You know, they always scan the faces now of the actors appearing in Star Wars live-action content so that the toy licensees can get the likenesses right. And she's got her Jedi kind of undergarments, the boots and the pants and the tunic and the belt, and she's got is that a communicator of some sort? Or yeah, her little utility belt has a couple of different tools that a Jedi might use, but of course the most important tool to a Jedi is their lightsaber. So you have her hilt here. Again, let's try to get that in some kind of focus. There is Master Indara's hilt from both sides, and a detachable green blade that plugs right into the top of the hilt there. And she can, of course, hold that in her hand. Perfect. And there's also, I noticed on the hilt, a little peg in case you want to remove the blade and put the hilt right here on her belt, which the Jedi would wear like so, when they're not actively using the lightsaber in defense or otherwise. My only issue with this at all, I do really like the figure, I do really like the likeness. The hair is nice. Reminds me of Rey a little bit, actually. I'm not a fan of the cloth robes. I know that goes way back to the beginning of Star Wars action figures, but I always tend to prefer the molded plastic robes. I think it just looks better on the shelf. This is I know, a subject of controversy among Star Wars action figure collectors. Which is better, the cloth robes or the plastic ones? I vote for plastic. I like the molded look, that we can get better, I don't know, better static poses. But the cloth has its advantages as well. You can obviously move her around a bit more than you would with a molded plastic robe. Let's see what she looks like with her hood up. Can you put her hood up? No. Looks like the hood is attached to the back there, if you can see that. So the hood can't go up, which is interesting, unless you want to tear that off of there. Is that supposed to be detachable? Doesn't look like I'm supposed to take that off. So this is Master Indara. Really nice to have. Glad to own this figure. Big fan of Carrie-Anne Moss, the actress, and I like the character quite a bit as well. Very cool. Let's move on to the next one. We've got Jedi Knight Yord Fandar. So if you've been watching the Acolyte, again, I don't consider this a major spoiler, but I will say it takes place at 2 different points in the timeline, and Yord Fandar is represented in the later point in the timeline. Yeah, that makes sense. And he is one of the younger Jedi Knights. He's not a Padawan. And it looks like they've represented actor Charlie Barnett in a good likeness there as well. He's got the yellow lightsaber, as we saw in the lightsaber forged lightsaber over there. He's number 4 in this series, and Indara was number 5. There's the back. At the end of the High Republic era, a former Padawan. Oh, this is the same synopsis of the show. It doesn't really talk about Yord as a character. Okay, cut the tape on Yord Fandar. We'll open up his package here. It's funny that I was so used to there being 2 of these, one on top of the other, that I was confused in the last one. But yeah, this follows the pattern of there only being one little clamshell plastic case inside that cardboard box. So let's pop out the Yord Fandar action figure here and remove his lightsaber as well. Okay, there's Yord. Again, a very nice likeness. Let's get that in focus. That's Charlie Barnett for sure. And he's got the same Jedi utility belt. Let's do it in the opposite order this time. We'll take the hilt off the blade, or vice versa, and we'll plug the blade, the little peg, it's going to go right on his belt there, and it hangs there nicely. And then we will put the lightsaber blade into the hilt, and we'll give it to him in his hand. Oh, a nice little, if you pull up his sleeve here, it's got some armor bracers going underneath. Pretty nice. Pretty nice sculpt. Looking pretty good. This whole team is going to look great lined up. It looks like they sent me the entire first wave of 6 Acolyte figures from the Black Series. Get a look at his haircut there. The backside, same deal with the hood. It is sewn to the back of the robe. Now, I think that can be pretty easily undone if you wanted to undo it. I'm going to leave it for now because it looks intentional, like the hood is supposed to remain that way. But, you know, every once in a while the Jedi do put their hoods up. That's not merely a dark side Sith kind of thing. We've seen it in a bunch of content with the Jedi having their hoods up. So if you wanted to do it, I'm thinking you could do it. Let's move on to the third figure here. This is Osha. Okay, here's where we're going to get into some minor spoilers. I think probably with the next figure. Because Osha, interestingly, was not announced as a character in the Acolyte before the show started. If you've been paying attention to the show, you know why that is. This looks like a really nice figure to me. Again, I don't love the cloth robes. I prefer the molded plastic, and this figure is all molded plastic. And Osha Aniseya comes with her little pip droid. Look at that. Look how fun that is there. And a backpack. Let's get her open here. I already cut the tape. Same description on the back. Let me show you the portrait on the side of Osha. And this is a character played by Amandla Stenberg on the Acolyte. She's number 1 in this series, which makes sense because she's kind of the protagonist in a number of ways. Okay, pop her out there. Yeah, I think this is going to end up being my favorite figure of these 6. So, I take out her blaster. Always like when the Star Wars toys come with a blaster. Does she have a holster? She's got a whole lot of stuff going on here. I want to say this is her holster. Let me see if I can figure out how this... Ooh, this is a cool holster, guys. Look at that. Yeah, look how neat that is. And I do want to show you the likeness of Amandla. The hair. And she's also got a little pouch in which to keep Pip. Let's get him out of here. That's part of him. And then here's the main part of Pip. And then let's get her backpack out. Okay. I'll put on the backpack first. Slip it around her arms. And then Pip. Okay, I think I understand. Pip lives in here. Do I have him in the right direction? No. Pip lives in the little pouch. There's also kind of an alternate configuration of Pip when he's being used as sort of a scanner, I believe. I want to say that's accurate. And she can hold him like so in her hand. If I can get it in there. Yeah. Okay. That's Osha Aniseya. Front and back. Backpack on now. Definitely my favorite of the action figures so far, if not my favorite character. I think Master Soul is my favorite character on the Acolyte, and we're going to take a look at his figure in a bit here. Let me actually get her blaster back out of the holster and put it in her right hand, because I want to show off how she holds this. Okay. And her finger does fit through the trigger. Yeah. So this is actually her little stun blaster that she's given by the Jedi, I think in episode 2. Again, I don't want to get too heavily into spoilers if you haven't seen the show. But, like I said, we are going to have to mention a little bit of a spoiler that comes out in episode 1. And that is the fact that Amandla Stenberg is, in fact, playing 2 characters The other one is called May. And again, if you know the show, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, I won't spoil it anymore about why that is. Why Amandla is two different characters. This is number 6 in the series. There's May front and back in her little blister pack here. Let's pop this out. Oh, and she's got all those blades. Look at that. That's cool. She's got a cloth robe. Let's put her aside, though, while I get all these accessories out. I'm not sure what this is. Get the tape off here. What is that? Oh, this is her face covering. This is her little, like, bandito mask. So we'll try putting that on in a bit. But first I gotta get all these blades out of here. These are little assassin blades. And I'm not gonna say what she uses them for in the show. Okay, here is May, parentheses, assassin. That's all the information they give you on the box, so that's all I'm gonna say about this character. Again, go watch the Acolyte if you want to know more. She's got a purplish cloth robe. Let me figure out how. Now this hood does go up and down, as you would need to for a dark side character such as this. Oh boy, I'm really spilling some spoilers that I did not intend to spoil. I think you gotta pop her head off to get that mask on. Right? Nothing else makes sense. Let's do it. So I got her head off. There's Amandla Stenberg head. There's her neck. Now she does have a version of the face mask that this is what it is intended to look like when it's down around her neck. And then you can put this version around. Is it like that or is it up? Yeah, it's like this. Okay. And then we'll put, yeah. I was worried for a second that I wasn't supposed to remove her head, but you definitely are because there's no other way to do it. Can I get this to pop back on? Yep. There is May with her face covering mask on that she uses in her role as an assassin, which I will say because it says assassin on the box of the toy. Let's give her one of these little blades in her hand. Maybe we can give her another blade in the other hand. It does come with 4 of these little assassin blades. Now what can I do with the other 2? I like when action figures have a way to store the extra accessories, and a holster for the blades would be great. I don't know if that would be accurate to the show or where she holds her blades in the show, but it doesn't appear as though I have a way to store her 2 extra blades that this came with. But let me show you the blades up close. This is the back side of Osha and her, sorry, May and her hair. Oh boy. The belt, the blades. Let's get a closer look at that. Okay, these are the 2 extra blades. There we go. So you can get a look at what those look like. Let's move on to the next figure. All right, the next action figure I want to look at here is going to be Padawan Jecki Lon, played by Daphne Keane in Star Wars The Acolyte. Here's the front of the box. She is number 3 in the set of 6. She's got the cloth robe as well over her Jedi tunic and belt, a nice likeness of the actress and character, and her green bladed lightsaber is of course included. Here's the back of the box. Here's her portrait on the side of the box. I'm going to go ahead and open this up. Take her out of there. Again, it's just one piece of plastic. One little blister pack. And take out the lightsaber. There is Jecki in the 6-inch scale. Black Series Star Wars action figures. And her lightsaber hilt can be removed from the blade and plugged into the right side, her right side of her belt there. Here's a close-up of the face and the hair. And we will take this off her belt, roll up her sleeve a little bit. That's the other weird thing about the cloth robes to me, is that they kind of hang down a little too far. It makes it look like the robes are oversized on the sleeves. But let's get her. Oh, I do like the detail on her hand. She is, I believe, half Thelan and half human. As we've learned in recent years, I believe. I'm not sure if this was in Legends continuity, but in the current canon, the species can intermingle. We know that Hera Syndulla Hera is a Twi'lek, and her betrothed Jedi Knight Kanan Jarrus. I blanked on his name for a second, and it took me just a second to come up with that, but have had a baby together. Jacen Syndulla, who is half Twi'lek, half human. Here's Jecki Lon holding her lightsaber there. Here's the back side. A nice figure again. Though, yeah, I would say I would have personally preferred the molded plastic robes, but I know some people do like the cloth robes, and maybe those people are better at posing than I am. But I do like the figure. I do like the likeness. Let's go on to the final one in the set. I saved my favorite. Whoa! I saved my favorite character for last. And that's Jedi Master Soul, played by Lee Jung Jae. That's what he looks like there. I don't know if I love this likeness. Does that look like Lee Jung Jae? I guess so. Let's take him out of the box and see better. Here's the portrait on the side of the box. There's the back. Let's open this up. I think it's an okay likeness, but not my favorite of the group. I don't know if they got his face exactly right there. What do you think? Leave a comment if you believe otherwise, if you disagree. Doesn't look exactly like Lee Jung Jae, but you know, they do take the scans of his face, so I'm sure that's what his face looked like on that day. But yeah, I think like 90% happy with that. There's the back of his hair and his cloth robe, of course, and his utility belt. Let's pop off the hilt. Pop. And put that there. That's what the lightsaber looks like on the hilt. Take this off. We'll put it back. Attach it to the blade again. And then we'll roll up Master Soul's sleeve. Again, he's got those nice bracers on his forearm and kind of gauntlet on the back of his hand there. As a helicopter flies by. I think from certain angles it definitely looks good, the likeness, but then his like cheeks look too sunken or something in other angles. I don't know. I don't know why that likeness isn't clicking for me. What do you guys think? Again, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I've been watching Squid Game because I enjoy his performance so much, Lee Jung-jae on The Acolyte, and that was the other show he was known for before that. Here's the other arm and the bracer. Yeah, I do really like the sculpting. Otherwise, it's a cool looking figure. It's going to look great on my shelf. I just think the likeness is not 100% for me. But let's get all these toys together, lined up, and we can compare them all next to each other. Okay, here is all 6 of the first wave, only announced wave so far, of the Acolyte action figures. Like I said, I think my favorite of the action figures is Osha, just because she's kind of fully formed there in the molded plastic. I just really like the way that came out. It's tough for me to get the cloth robes to look right on these other characters. I do like them otherwise, though. May looks really nice. Here's Master's Soul and Indara next to each other. I'm still not 100% on Lee Jung-jae's likeness there. He's pretty close, but not 100%. That's all I can say. Yord Fandar looks good. Indara, Jecki Lon. And here are the 2 extra blades for May's character and the little mask as it appears when it's pulled down around her neck. I do wish that you could put the blades somewhere. Maybe I'm just missing it. If I'm missing it, let me know. But it would be cool to store the blades on her person. That's all of them. I would really like to see Manny Jacinto's character. I think most people would want that as well if they're going to do more Acolyte action figures. That's got to be the next one that they make. I want to say he's the only main character who appears... Well, that's not quite true. Thinking about it a little bit more, but I would wager that most people would vote for a Manny Jacinto character action figure. And I don't want to say more, because that would be spoiler territory, but hopefully they'll get around to that. Very, very cool. Thank you so much to Hasbro for sending these over to us. I'm very, very glad to have them. And please visit laughingplace.com for all your Disney news and opinions. And go to hasbropulse.com if you would like to order some of these Star Wars The Acolyte action figures for yourself. My name is Mike Celestino. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you real soon. Thanks. Bye.